Heck knows what's going on. I think my computer got attacked again. Uh, if anyone can hear me on this stream, let me know. Okay, and then I'll get started. This is crazy what's going on here. I swear they've been messing with me bad today. They must not have liked what I said. So, have we got anybody on here, or is it all messed up because of not having that last stream come on? Looks like I have 3 people here. Okay. I'm going to come back around, and unfortunately, it's on my phone. They've done something to my computer. I was getting ready to go live, and somebody grabbed my cursor again. And I don't know what they did, but all of a sudden, the OBS, even though it says it's streaming, YouTube's not getting the signal. So, are you folks getting me? I'm going to come back around here because I can't see if you're making any comments. Let me just see. I'm going to be staring at you here. Looks like we got 15 people on the line. How is the sound when I'm standing over behind the table? How is it over there? Okay, there we go. All right. Yeah, I am so sorry what's happened here. Good. Apparently we're working. I guess the big thing is what does the sound like over here, because my mic won't work now because my computer's gone down. Is the sound okay? Let me come back and take a look here. Fine? Okay. I'm going to move this up just a little closer. All right. Sorry I have to make all these last minute adjustments, but man, something happened there and it wasn't very nice. I'm getting so tired of these people. Have no idea. Okay. So I had my intro coming on for Nightcap, but it never came across on the YouTube live stream. So I'm not sure what was going on there. Like I said, I started to start the program, and I was moving my cursor, and all of a sudden it just goes off, wildly. So it probably hit something that it wasn't supposed to, clicked on something it wasn't supposed to. So we'll just do this. I apologize for that. So, we're not going to have the nice nightcap intro music and all of that. Well, welcome everybody as you come in. Again, maybe you could, if that other live stream is going, if you could go on the chat there and tell them to check out of that and to come on to this program, okay? And, I thought about pre-recording this, and maybe I should have done that. The way things are going these days, it just is crazy. All right, well, the first thing I guess I ought to do is kind of show you the shirt that I'm wearing. I know. Guinness is an Irish, pub beer. I know that. But it's the only shirt I had that had anything to do with with any kind of alcohol. Of course, it doesn't have anything to do with whiskey, but I kind of figured it would set the tone. And I put this out here. This is a Scottish, well, it's Scotch. It's actually Glenfiddich. It's a 15-year Scotch. Prior to last week, I had never really had a real Scotch, I guess. I was buying blends. Now, there's nothing wrong with blends. Some of those blends are really good. People like ones like Johnny Walker and, Dewar's and things like that. But I had never actually had a real Scotch. And a friend of mine came up to see me, and he brought me this as a gift. He says, you've been doing so much hard work. I think you deserve this. And I was amazed. I think I told you on a previous video, what he said to me was, as he was on his way up, he says, what kind of Scotch should I get? And I thought he was getting it for him. And I said, well, don't spend less than $20 because, most of the blends, if you go below $20, they're really not very good. The $20 blends, you can kind of get along, 20 to 25 right in there. But to my surprise, he showed up with this. And this, like I said, is a 15-year single malt Scotch whiskey. That's spelled SKY. And the reason why I put this at the front of the table is because, whiskey really came to us from the Scots. That's really who started this. I can't even say the Gaelic for whiskey, but it sounds like whiskey. It's Whiskey Bea or something like that, which means water of life. So I wanted to give honor to the Scotch. And of course, there are all kinds of Scotch whiskeys. Glenfiddich is one of the very older ones. Of course, there's several others which I won't name here, but you get the idea. So at any rate, of course, I opened this because I couldn't wait to see what it was like. And I really anticipated it would be something like, the blends. Oh no. Oh no, not at all. This is so unbelievable. Uh, you can see my collection here, and this isn't all of it now. This isn't all of my whiskey, but these are the ones I thought I'd bring out and show. I have some of the lesser cost ones like Ezra Brooks and Evan Williams, the lower end ones. I don't have any really, really expensive bourbons or ryes or any of those. Just mid-grade. This is the most expensive thing I've ever tried that I can recall. Certainly that I, had given to me or owned. And this was spectacular. And yes, I did pour some, and I've been sipping on it. No, it wasn't because I was sipping on this that I messed up the program on the computer, because I hadn't started yet. I just took a swig of this as I came around to figure out what was wrong here and see if the phone would work. But pardon me for a minute. This is Glenfiddich 15-year Scotch. Incredible. I mean, I'm not here to do a tasting test because, I've watched some of those on television, and not on television, but on YouTube. And, it's kind of silly, you can't have a taste test, first of all, unless you have at least two people. It just doesn't work very well. And second of all, what does it really do for you? I mean, everybody's taste is different. It's the old story, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Well, taste is very much the same way, and effect, of course, and all those things. To try to describe what these things are like is like trying to tell you what an orange tastes like. Well, you won't know until you try it yourself. And thus, there's the catch. No two whiskeys are the same, none of them. Understandably, even some of the same type of whiskey from the same company can change slightly from time to time. They've gotten pretty good at not allowing that to happen, but regardless, it can. So let me just take a little sip of this, and that's all I do. I don't shoot these, take a shot and down them like they do in the Western movies. This is meant to savor and to relax with, and that's what you do. So pardon me, and cheers. That is spectacular. Why do I say that? Well, let me give you a little background. I'm going to move my 15-year Glenfiddich over here so you can see all the rest of what I have here. I will point out that this was expensive. It's about $65 to $70 for a 750 milliliter bottle. Let me show you what the bottle looks like. They're actually quite incredible. They come in these cardboard cases, but this is what the bottle looks like. Isn't that beautiful? It's a triangular bottle. You can kind of see what that's like. They're just elegant. Very, very elegant. So, like I said, I've got a little bit of this in my glass. But since this is about $65 to $70, I went to the liquor store and I decided to see what else Glenfiddich puts out. And they put out a lot of things. And of course, then there's also Glenlivet, and there's, just all kinds, really expensive ones too. This is their 12-year. I'll let you see what that looks like there. That's their 12-year. And yes, I bought this for myself. This is about $40 to $45, depending upon where you get it. But that's what it looks like. Now, what does this all mean when I talk about Scotch? Look, I've tried all of these whiskeys. Actually, this is a rum here on the end. This is a rum. This is a black rum. This actually tastes like licorice, okay? It's actually black rum. Has a very licorice charcoal taste to it. This is a basic rum that a lot of you have probably seen cruising. I just have these out here so that I've got them available for guests if they want them. This is a tequila, believe it or not. It's called Tarantula 100. I'm not a tequila fan. I'm not going to go buy I won't even buy mid-range tequila. These are about $20, $24. They were on sale at the liquor store for $12. Yes, I'm cheap. But because I'm not a tequila fan, that's fine. But it's a quality enough that I can give it to guests and they can use it to mix for their margaritas or their whatever, whatever they make those things with. But like I say, that's just in case somebody asks for them. I have had a lot of the black rum. This is actually very good. I'm very surprised how good it is. It's a Bacardi Black. I also, when I was up in Washington State, I had some Costco spiced rum. Comes in the big 175 container. It's very good too. I think it's probably made for them by Crown Royal, but I'm not sure. So let me tell you a little bit about how I got into this. It's just been recently. When I was a kid, and even up until about, I don't know, several years ago, whiskey, the smell of it would make me gag. Just the smell of it would make me gag. Now, when you get older, your tastes change, they kind of mature. You lose some part of your taste, but you gain others. I'm sure a lot of you know about what I'm talking about. And about 3 months ago, I was invited up to a friend's house. He's a police officer. I have lots of friends in law enforcement, etc., and the military, of course. And so I went up. They have a condo up in the mountains, and so I went up there, and he said, "Hey, you want to try some different whiskeys?" And I was going, I don't know. I'm not much on whiskey. I don't really care for beer anymore because it bloats me too much, and wine's too sweet, so I don't really drink that very much. And he says, "Well, let's let you try some different whiskeys." And I won't tell you all the ones he had, but he had a collection very similar to this. No, I didn't try them all. Even when taking little sips, this is always going to be 40%. It's going to be 80 proof at a minimum. Some of them are 90, some of them are 100 and 110. And you can get some rums that are like 150. You know what I mean? No, that's too much. I don't necessarily want to feel the alcohol. The alcohol's part of it, but you want to be able to enjoy it, and that's why this Glenfiddich is so impressive. They really do such a great work on it. There are hints and notes of all kinds of other flavors. Of course, the wood that they age it in, the sherry or the bourbon casks. But whatever it is they do, it's unbelievable. Pardon me, I'm going to take another sip from this, okay? Mm, unbelievable. I still can't believe that I haven't had this until just last week. So anyway, back to the story. So, we tried, I don't know, a number of them, and I actually enjoyed it. But of course, what I found out is all those tasters out there that are telling you what's good and what's bad, that doesn't really help you. Unfortunately, you're going to have to you're going to have to kind of go out and experiment and decide first of all, if you even want to try whiskey. Until, like I said, about 3 months ago, I'd never even considered it. But since then, as you can see, I've gotten pretty serious about it. But every whiskey is a little different. So these tasters that are out there and tell you about it, and there are loads of them on the internet. Let's see, what does this say? Jeremy. Okay. I'm getting messages and things. You'll have to pardon me. Because my phone, with whatever's happening to my live stream on my OBS, it's not working. I think they took it out again. Anyway, so every whiskey's a little different. So somebody trying to tell you what's good and what's bad, I think you're just going to have to go and try it on your own. Okay, that's what you're going to have to do. And that's what I've done. And unfortunately, it's taken a little bit of time, and I can't say that I dislike any of these. Of course, I'm not counting the tequila. I'm not even really counting the rum, even though I told you rum and tequila aren't whiskey anyway. But I wanted to have them out here to show you that I'm not entirely without some couth for other people. So my first try of whiskey was actually probably Evan Williams 1793, I think is the one it is, or 1783, one of those. And it's kind of an upper echelon of the Evan Williams line, and it was very good. And then I had some Woodford, which is what this is here, but this isn't bourbon. This is rye, and I got to tell you the story about why I got into rye. About 2 weeks ago or a little longer, I showed you that I brought out the Jack Daniel's rye, which is right here. Let me tell you why I went from bourbon to rye initially. By the way, this bottle of Woodford here, I don't know when I'm going to open it. This was as the Glenfiddich. The Glenfiddich was a gift from a very, very dear friend that I've known for, oh man, it's been 35 years, I guess. I've known him, and he gave me that. This was given to me by a very good friend of a very good friend who I just met, and she left this for me as a gift. But I'm probably not going to open it for quite a while. But it is a rye. I have had the bourbon in Woodford, and it's good, no question about that. But I think I'm going to be sticking with Scotch for my normal drinking, like I've said before, my evening enjoyment. But at any rate, so I tried the bourbons, and I went out and I got a couple of more of those Evan Williams, and I tried some Jack Daniels, which of course is right, where'd it go? Right here. I did try some Jack Daniels. Tennessee whiskey I like a lot. Kentucky bourbon's good too, but Tennessee whiskey has a special thing to it, I think. So again, it goes to personal flavors. But I was a little concerned about the corn because I'm really not much on corn. Now I know the distilling process, the mashes and all that, you're really not getting the GMO maybe or whatever, but I kind of felt like, I think I want to go to a rye. They're a little stronger, as most of you know, not necessarily in alcohol content. I mean, it's like this Jack Daniels here. This is 45%. The regular Jack Daniels is 40. So this is 90 proof. This is 80 proof. So the ryes usually are a little stronger. And the Woodford here, I believe, is 45 as well. Yeah, it's almost 46. So this is about 92 proof. And a little bit more than this is 90 proof, so they're a little higher proofs. I guess they're good for mixing. People tell me that, but frankly, I haven't mixed them. I like to drink them straight, but I don't drink a lot of it. There's just to give you an example. That's the color of the Glenfiddich 15-year Scotch right there. You can see that these ryes are a little darker. I don't know if you can see that in there, but they're a little darker. And they're a little bit stronger and very robust. But that's what I was drinking there for the first couple of months. And then I decided that, well, I guess what I ought to do is expand out a little bit. So I'd go to the liquor store and I'd find things that, usually were on sale. So I started buying some of these other things. This is a rye here. This is one of the first ryes I got too. This is called Henry de Yours. Now this one's really strange. I mean, when you compare this to all the other ryes that I've had, including there's George Dickel along with the Jack Daniels, and then this here, and I've had a few other ryes. This one was really different. You can see I've had quite a bit of it, but that was before I got into Scotch. But anyway, each of these is just a little different. They're just a little different. They're not the same. Each one has a slightly different character to it, and that's what makes it so interesting. So let me put these back over here. So I had the ryes initially, and then I moved back into the bourbons. And you might say, well, Roy, what are you doing with a Black Velvet on the table? Black Velvet is a low-end Canadian blend of whiskeys, but not this one. This is a reserve. This is aged 6 years, and this is very, very good. So this was actually, other than the Evan Williams, this was the first bourbon. It's not bourbon, of course. It's Canadian whiskey, but at any rate, the next whiskey that I got, and I really like this. If I had somebody over who had never had whiskey before, who doesn't like the robustness of some of the others, this is what I would give them, is this particular thing. Like, if I ever have a lady over and she wants to have something off the bourbon bar or the whiskey bar, this is probably the one that I would suspect that she would want. Now there's a backstory to this as well. I actually once knew a black velvet girl. Yes, one of the ones that used to pose in the different magazines to advertise black velvet. So this has a special meaning to me in that regard. Soft, smooth, kind of like her, you know. So it's kind of nice to think about that. Okay, so that was the first one, and then what we did was is I had a grandson who's, believe it or not, he's almost 30, and he said, "Hey, have you ever tried Gentleman Jack?" Now I had already also tried some Jack Daniels, okay, at my police officer friend's house, but I never really had Gentleman Jack. And Gentleman Jack is another one that's very smooth and very easy to drink. You don't want none of these I would shoot like a shot. Now, I just wouldn't do that. I do like the flavor of the different ingredients and allowing it to absorb, you know, all those things that the tasters tell you about. But Gentleman Jack was a real good. This is a more like the Woodfords in cost and in quality. So it's a step above, say, Wild Turkey. It's a step above Evan Williams, Ezra Brooks, those types of things. It's even a step above the Jack Daniels number 7. But you know what? As much as I like Gentleman Jack, and I would have it for guests, I do still prefer the slightly more robust number 7, the Black Label number 7. I really do. I really like this Jack Daniels Tennessee whiskey. It's very easy to drink. But if I had somebody that needed to kind of have it toned down a bit, I'd give them the Gentleman Jack. Okay, well, I've got some others here. There's George Dickel here. Remember I showed you that they have a rye too. Both very good, not expensive. They're around about $20, $22 right in there for a 750. Here's that Evan Williams 1783. This was actually the first one that I started with. This is a cut above. This is a small sour mash batch bourbon. It is a Kentucky bourbon, straight bourbon. And what are the differences between bourbons, you know, straight and all that? I don't want to get into that here. I'm not a professional at this. I just wanted to show you, you know, kind of where I went. I'm definitely not a prude when it comes to whiskey. I've never actually been drunk on it either. What happens is that I like the flavor so much that that's what I'm interested in, but that's something I don't continue with. You know, this is about as much as I'll have in an evening, maybe a little bit more. They say about 2 fingers deep is about where you want to be. I don't even know if I've ever gotten to 2 fingers deep, but that's about as much as I'll do right there. And this amount, I just very tiny sips. Within about 20 minutes to a half an hour, I can start feeling it, but it's just enough to kind of calm you down, relax you, you know, make you want to, at least me, you know, makes me want to just kind of take it easy and, you know, like everybody, you know what I mean? Wow. Something that's hard to do on YouTube when they play with me like that. It might be I can never use that again. It looks like something's happened to it. So we might be stuck having all my stuff on a phone from now on. So this 1783 by Evan Williams, it's 43%. So there's an 86 proof right there. And then, of course, there's Wild Turkey. Now, I had Wild Turkey for the first time about 2 weeks ago. Again, at that same police officer friend's house. I went up there and he gave me some of this, and I like it. It's pretty good. It's 81 proof. It's 40.5% alcohol. Again, I'm not looking for the big 101s like Wild Turkey 101. It's not more alcohol that I want. I just want a nice, relaxing, enjoyable, you know, whiskey is what I'm looking for. I don't need something to kick my butt. I'm not looking for that. So then the next thing that happened was, you know, somebody said, well, have you ever had Irish whiskey? And I thought, well, isn't it like Scotch? And they go, oh no, they're very, very different. And I said, okay. So of course, like so many people, the first Irish whiskey that I had was Jameson. That's the very first one I had. Very good. I think most anybody who drinks whiskey, especially Irish whiskey, this is a good everyday kind of after work or evening um, whiskey to have. And the history of the Scotch and the Irish whiskey is similar in a lot of ways, and I won't get into that here. You can go listen to that if you're interested in the histories of these. But these are really the people that started the whole whiskey thing anyway. I think it was back in about the 15 or 1600s. It may have been a little earlier, but something like that. But again, just for me, between the Scotch and the Irish whiskey, it's going to be this, especially this one or this one. I'm very impressed with it. I know there's an 18-year Glenfiddich, but it's over $100. I don't think anything's worth that much. I mean, I'm sure they're worth it, but I just mean I'm not going to spend that. Maybe if I was on a 6-digit income or something like that, I might have some of those 6 or 7-digit income. Then I might have something like that around. But this is just wonderful for me. So I did try Jameson, and then as a backup, I also have Tullamore Dew. I went out and I got that. Again, these are about the same price, both the Jameson and the Tullamore. I actually haven't tried the Tullamore yet. The reason why I got it is because when I went into the liquor store, they had lowered the price significantly, and I thought, okay, well, I'm going to have it on hand, and then I'll try it when the time comes. So that's my story on how I got into this. And you look at this and you say, oh my gosh, Roy must be drinking all the time. No, not really, but you do start to find that you have an affinity, partially for the art in this. It really is an art. They've put together some wonderful products. There's some really cheap ones out there. You go drink cheap whiskey, cheap wine, cheap anything, and a lot of times you're going to get sick. And I'm not so sure it's because you drink more of it. I think it's because it's usually really not the best stuff. But all of these that I have here, even though they're not the super expensive ones, they're very, very high quality in a lot of ways. And of course, again, as I say, the Glenfiddich here is 15-year single malt Scotch whiskey. They call it our Solera 15. Let me read what it says here. This warm and spicy single malt is matured for 15 years in bourbon, new oak, and sherry casks before harmonizing in our unique Solera vat. But it's all from one distillery. Okay? A lot of the blends will come from many distilleries. They might age them once they put them together, or they might have a blend. And my understanding is that they have to give the age of the youngest whiskey that they put in the blend. They can't say, if you put an 18-year whiskey in, but you put a 5-year in the blend as well, you have to go with the 5. So in the blends, when you see that when they say something like they're the blends like Dewar's or Johnny Walker, one of those, and it says that they've been aged for 10 years. That's the youngest of the whiskeys that were put into the blend. So in that way, that's a good way to handle that, and I like it. So at any rate, I wanted to share this with you. We don't need to go very long tonight. I'm going to see what's wrong with my crazy computer. I guess I could answer a few questions. Let me come around and let's take a look at what you're having to say. All right. Okay, I'm going to get down in front of the table here. I think you can still see me. Yeah, all right. Don't like the blends, Robert Smith. Well, I've had Johnny Walker. I've had Ballantines, and they're not bad. They're really not bad. I really like the Ballantines, as a matter of fact. But like I said, I don't think I'll ever buy. And I have a couple of blends, but I'll never buy another one. I'll leave the blends for people that don't want this. Glenlivet, I just bought one of those. I didn't bring it out, but I do have one. Lagavulin, I guess it's called. The lady told me about it in the store today, but boy, mucho expensive. Mucho dinero. I thought, well, I've got to have a cap on, how much I get here. Hi, Jesse, BP Earthwatch. How you doing? Nice to see you. You use Tullamore in coffee? You use this in the coffee? Yeah, that would probably be a good idea. Your favorite rye? My favorite rye and bourbon? Uh, I did have Woodford Rye up at my friend's house, even though I haven't opened this bottle here. Again, I've had several different varieties. The Dickel, the Henry Dior, the Jack Daniels, and the Woodford. I've also had Ezra Brooks, and I've also had, there's one other one I've had. I think my favorite, however, is the Woodford Reserve Rye so far. So far, that's my favorite. My favorite bourbon so far, I guess, would have to be, oh, well, that's a hard one. Again, it's not the high end ones. I've never tasted one that costs 60, 80, $100. I probably have to say the Gentleman Jack as far as how good it is, but I really like the robustness of the Black Label number 7. So I'd probably go with the Jack Daniels. Yeah, I'd probably do that. One of these days I might get a Lafrage. I'm not sure how they say it, but they are expensive. Is that what you get, Nancy? The Lafrage? There was a lady that was trying to talk me into it in the store the other day, and I went, I think it was like $110, something like that. You do drink that? Oh wow. Well, it's good stuff. Oh great. But you are a Scotch lady, right? You like Scotch? Tastes like moss. Yeah, the peat moss. That's another thing that they do with Scotch whiskeys. They heat them over peat, and it definitely gets into the flavor of the whiskey, and it's very very good. Jim Beam, I haven't I had a couple of different types, but like I said, I'm kind of stuck on Scotch now. I think that's probably where I'm going to be. Uh, yeah. Oh, I know you haven't had whiskey until you had a good 200 bottle of it. Well, maybe one of these days, just not right now for sure. You know what I mean? Okay. Let's see what other things we've got here. I missed all of the statements earlier, all the chat earlier. Chivas Regal. Yeah, that's supposed to be good too. That's a blend. I haven't had that. I decided, like I said, to stick with the single malts from the single distilleries rather than getting a blend. Grand Marnier, Grand Marnier, of course, Louisa is a liqueur, and I stay away from those, because I mean I've had Cointreau many many years ago. Um, and some others I can't recall now. But that was one of them. But there's just too much sugar in them for me. I just can't quite handle it. Pendleton whiskey is supposed to be very good. Yes, I don't recall having tried it, but I do know that it's supposed to be good. Macallan, yeah, Macallan Scotch is very very good. You have a 25-year-old bottle for like 18 $180 or 1800. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You can spend a lot. I go in a liquor store. There was a cognac in there, and the bottle itself was a work of art, and the display that it was in, they wanted, I think it was $4,000 for a 750 milliliter. Whoa, that's a bit. Yeah, Crown Royal is good. I did have it a long time ago. I did, and Jameson, of course. Yeah, I've got that here, and it's good. I mean, actually, I don't think that there's a whiskey that could be offered to me that I wouldn't accept, that I wouldn't like. It's just that I like some better than others. Yeah, good Kentucky bourbon is nice too, and of course that's what Evanston is. The Wild Turkey, and there are others. The Tennessee bourbons, or the Tennessee whiskeys rather, they're not bourbons, I guess. Tennessee whiskeys that I have are George Dickel and, of course, Jack Daniels and Gentleman Jack. You have an unopened Crown Royal from 1969. Boy, that's going to be something else. That's going to be something else. Okay. Well, we've been for about a half hour. Like I said, I just wanted to come on. Wild Turkey 101, Ringo Hayes. I've had it. I had it up at my friend's house, but like I say, I kind of like the lower alcohol contents because you can enjoy them better. I'm not looking to get, you know, hit by the alcohol. Brian Woods, $1,800. Yeah, no, I don't have that either. There's no way I could justify spending $1,800 for that. Maker Mark 46 is supposed to be good. I talked to a person in the store about that, and they really like it. I've never had any Japanese whiskey. No, I haven't. I haven't. Mindy, Patriot Angel, hi, how you doing? You like Crown Royal? Yeah, great. Imperial Jade, now I know what to get me for Christmas. I don't know where I'd meet you up, but yeah. Salted caramel, yeah. Seagram's makes good gin. I wouldn't put down anybody who gets Seagram's, but after I found out that they were involved with the human and sex trafficking stuff, uh, I just don't bother. Finance Plan says trade in my AR-15 for that $1,800 bottle. No, 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 no. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. All right. Oh, thanks, Brian Woods. You're saying it's an awesome show. Gee, like I said, even with all the technical stuff, it must have been what I said on YouTube today about the military things that are going on with this whole medical situation. They must not have liked that, and somebody came on and messed up my OBS. I'm glad my phone's still working. That's the good thing. That's the good thing. Well, I hope everybody made it over to this broadcast, this live stream from the other one that kind of petered out. Like I said, I'm not sure what happened there. I'm going to try to check on it. I'm not going to do it tonight. I'll do it tomorrow, and I'll try to figure out what happened. It might be that they attacked that OBS in there, and it's just a mess. Roy, have you tried any flavored whiskey? No, I probably wouldn't. Oh, thanks, Jesse, for the images of the salt flats. You like that? I should have done more. I probably wouldn't have the flavored whiskey because I don't like. I like the flavor of the whiskey itself. I don't really care for all the additives, and of course, usually it's sugar. Okay, that's another thing. I stay away from that. I mean, the amount of alcohol, comes from sugar. So that's all the sugar I need. Yeah, Maker's Mark is good. I've heard that. I just have never tried it yet. Never tried it yet. So the other thing is it bad to drink whiskey? Is it bad to drink alcohol? Well, of course, I remember being told how bad it was, and then I went out to Wendover many years ago, and I saw uh, a leader of the church I was in at the time out there guzzling and gambling. So what they say and what they do are two different things. In Islam, alcohol is a really bad thing, and yet we know that when nobody's watching, a lot of them have been caught imbibing. Again, it comes down to what? It comes down to moderation, right? G-Man Neode, moderation and responsibility. That's what it comes down to. And you just have to be aware. I mean, when you're carrying a gun, yeah, you can hurt somebody with it, including yourself. So, you have to have responsibility, and you have to use it in moderation. Same thing. Driving a car, same thing. If you don't drive a car moderately and responsibly, you're going to hurt yourself or somebody else. So it goes across the board in a lot of things. Now, the big thing about alcohol is that, of course, people say that it interferes with your ability to reason and your ability to get the real spirit of God and things like that. And I would agree with that if you misuse it. Okay, if you misuse it, yes, it can mess you up. There are members in my family on my mom's side that were alcoholics. Bye, Nancy. Thanks for coming. Thank you so much. We're almost done anyway. And a lot of them were alcoholics. As a matter of fact, my grandfather ran speakeasies in Washington D.C. during the Prohibition. He was a builder. He built homes and office buildings, but on the side, he had these speakeasies, and he got extremely Roosevelt. Hi, he got extremely wealthy from that. Roosevelt, hi, how you doing? It's been a long time. I thought I lost you. I haven't seen you for a long time, so thank you for coming by. Find this planet. Okay, everybody. Look, Thanks for coming tonight. I'm going to let you go. I didn't need this to drag on for you. I just want, you've been sick. Oh, anything? Has it been serious? Well, you've been gone, Roosevelt. So was it serious? Are you all cured now? Let me know that before I hang up. Are you doing better? Have they given you a clean bill of health? Hopefully it wasn't anything serious. Like I said, I've noticed that you haven't been around. You gonna let us know how you are? Probably take you a minute to type it in. Chronic fatigue. Okay, but you're getting better. Okay, well, I certainly understand, that problem. Okay, yeah, we're not going to talk about serious stuff tonight. We could talk about the things that are going on, but I just like these nightcaps to be lighter, okay, so that we just have a good time. So cheers, everybody. Thank you for coming, and thank you for letting me show you, how I got into this and why I like single malt scotch so much. And that's basically going to be what I stick with. I'll have the rest of this for you all when you come and visit, okay? I mean, you can have the scotch too, but you can break in drinking this other that we have behind me. All right. All right. I'm going to go. Thanks, everybody. And I'll see you later. Again, I'll try to figure out what's wrong with that other system. Maybe it's totally kaput. Thanks so much. Have a great night. Again, cheers. And we'll see you later.